It's usually angry young white boys.
Okay.
It's not the people, it's luck was on our side, and that's why you had the most advanced civilization.
Yeah. Thinking of people as just labor.
You rely on the state for grain. Imagine a beautiful world like that.
Is that what the beauty of civilization is? To just make more teeming, hungry mouths that cannot sustain themselves? What's gonna happen? We're gonna run out of people. Oh, the stock prices are gonna go down. Oh! The entire world is undergoing like genetic terraforming. The rape of the human mind in school for black people is learning about slavery. Imagine going to school. So how long does slavery class last? The entire year? Your ancestors were whipped. Can you imagine? Imagine saying that to a child. Mm-hmm. Like what if we went out on the street and found a child and we were like, hey kid, your ancestors were whipped with chains and then we sold them and then they were sold. That's insane.
Then on top of that, the modern world hates you. And they don't like you because of what you look like, and telling them that.
They don't want you dead because we're all one color, and they want peace, and they don't want violence, right? But they do want to destroy whiteness. People who don't care about you at all, who want you dead. If you're going to one of these things to help them destroy whiteness, be ready to be destroyed. If something you say or some attitude you cop or some lack of if your support seems not genuine, be ready for the mob to turn on you. This has nothing to do with fighting the power or anything like that. This is a display of force, a victory celebration.
It's usually angry young white boys.
Okay.
This
guy right here. It's like
you
him.
look up statistic-wise, and I say this all the time when I talk about that.
So if we look up who's responsible for the most per capita gun violence, it would probably be angry young white boys.
Most of the time it is, a good percentage. And
generally,
then as they get older, there's still the white older men that are angry.
Yeah.
Men are angry in general. See, because when my generation was growing up, right, everyone's mindset as a male, we talked about the toys, right? Everyone's mindset as a male was, okay, well, I don't have to do anything in life. I'm going to go and get a beautiful wife. I'm going to have the white picket fence, the 2.3 children, the nuclear family, the BB boo, the whole 9 yards, right?
Your move here, if you had to fix society, would be to make it more gynocentric, more female, matriarchal, less patriarchal, and that would fix it up.
Men are visual, women are empathetic.
I think a big part of what their game is to convince us to despair.
Yeah.
Because it's like, Ye reposted that video from ants where the grasshoppers say, if all the ants stand up, then we're dead. And it's like, that psychology is so critical where. And a big part of even the anti-Semitism stuff is in the old days, someone would say anything about Jewish people and they would isolate that person and just do like an orbital strike on their entire existence. And it would put everybody back in line because everybody say, whoa, we don't want that to happen to us. And now, it's like, what if we all rushed Area 51? It's like Dan Bilzerian. What if we all said the Jews on Twitter at the same time? Then they couldn't ban us, And I'm a big believer in like, one day they might not show up to the battlefield and then we win. One day they might collapse. One day the guy that's going to ban you on Twitter like dies in a car crash on his way to the office. Nothing is written. I'm a big believer and we have to be sober, but also optimistic in a sense, hopeful about the future.
If you are on Team America, and by Team America, I don't mean Ben Shapiro's collection of ideas. America's not a collection of ideas. America is a people, Americans. Stupid people at the bottom of the spectrum know that everybody is special. Everybody's special. Everybody's different and has their own thing. Geniuses understand that everybody is a unique product by and for their zeitgeist, or Zeitgeist if you want to go with the moist critical pronunciation. Everybody is uniquely a product of their time and location and has their place in space and time. The smart people know this, the stupid people know this. It's people in the middle with 110 IQ, which is the worst IQ to have, who think that people can just be pushed around and moved around and changed. Whatever the Bitcoin end state is, if it's even close to something libertarian, it means that all these hungry mouths that depend on Whitey are going to starve to death. That's kind of a fucked up thing to think about, man.
It's not even what's been done to white people. It's what's being done to the entire world. The entire world is undergoing like genetic terraforming. The population of Africa is 1.2 billion. 100 years ago, it was probably 100 million. I think that's the fact I've heard. So taking the population of a continent and multiplying it by 10, by 12, okay, with food, with foreign aid, it's like putting sugar in a petri dish. I mean, foreign aid has not turned Africa into Wakanda there's no like amazing railway system or amazing healthcare system in Africa. This money has just been used for food to generate more people. I mean, is that what the beauty of civilization is? The point of human life is to just make more teeming, hungry mouths that cannot sustain themselves?
The Fates of Human Societies by Jared Diamond. That's one above gold, guys. Take notes, okay? Key points: geography determines success. The availability of domesticatable plants and animals, while continents like Africa and the Americas face... Okay. Oh, I know from the title and the fact that it is like lauded as the most definitive, I know what it is.
The idea is it's not the people, it's luck was on our side. And that's why you had the most advanced civilization.
Yeah. Africa's not a good enough the most resource-rich, boundless... endless continent, like the jewel of the world in terms of geography, not big enough. Germs and disease. Europeans built immunity to diseases, whereas indigenous... Oh, come on. Societies with surplus food could support specialists, leading to the development of weapons, organized states, and conquest. Contingency over destiny. European dominance was not due to inherent superiority, but to the cumulative advantages created by environmental conditions. You. Anything that's a New York Times editor recommended reading list, whatever, if it has to do with history or anthropology or whatever, it's the exact same story. That's what you get. Libertarians meeting up and having a conference and like dressing in bow ties, and they're like talking about this stuff, and really what they're talking about is like 6 billion Google-gop people starving to death. One of the most drawn-out, inhumane forms of death. They're just like kicking around.
Well, it's what's proposed in Atlas Shrugged is when people cooperate, and it's peaceful cooperate.
Like 6 billion. Feed us.
That's just Africa. This is being done everywhere in some form or another. The world is being genetically terraformed, and it's worse than straight up warfare. Injecting Ethiopians with birth control. They forcibly inject Ethiopian immigrants with birth control. They've got, and this is a mainstream thing. You can look this up. You type in Brazil ISR into your search engine, forcibly injecting birth control, and it comes up. This is a mainstream thing. This is not a conspiracy thing.
The Prime Minister 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐚𝐫𝐸𝐿 Netanyahu actually
Yes.
says,
Jesus.
Nobody wants to solve the Japanese birth rate problem by turning Japan into India. I've tried it! It can't be done. I have tried over 150 times to turn an Indian into a Japanese man. And the only thing I was able to accomplish was boiling them. All right? That's preposterous. That only would work in a computer simulation where you can just change the code. Nobody wants to solve the American birth rate problem. What's gonna happen? We're gonna run out of people. Oh, the stock prices are gonna go down. Oh! People are not interchangeable economic units. If they're not more than that, then that's just an extension of antinatalism. That's just nihilism. That's just people don't matter. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the universe doesn't care. The universe cares. That's why we're here. It's understandable why a computer guy, why an engineer would think that or would want to think that, because it would make solving problems so much easier. We have hardwired group preferences, we have genetic memory, we have culture. This is not learned stuff. It's so deeply embedded in us that it carries on for thousands of years. Thinking of people as interchangeable units, while it would be useful in a simulation or in an economic theorem, It strips them of their humanity. And by the way, it's one of the first steps towards any authoritarian dictatorship type system. It's one of the first steps towards Marxism, is thinking of people as just labor.
Imagine there's no borders. Imagine there's no way to protect your property. Imagine you don't have property. Imagine private property is abolished. Imagine you rely on the state for grain. Imagine a beautiful world like that. Imagine you line up for bags of rice and bread, and you can't protect yourself. You can't own land. You can't own anything. The state can put a gun to your head for no reason, even though guns are abolished. You have to have guns to enforce the abolishment of guns. It's complicated, but imagine that.
It's a very gross, anti-human thing to think, just to appeal to the Redditor in you. That's middle brain.
If you're mentally right, if you have your head on straight, it makes sense to somebody to want to have borders and to want to have a national identity. And I think even if I were sitting next to a very liberal Black Lives Matter type person right now, we could have some sort of discussion where they would at least understand that, like, I have a human motivation to want to have borders and like a cohesive identity.
They're protecting the border of the Chaz.
Yeah.
So we have some common ground.
So we got some common ground there. I mean, there's something even stranger about it though, because you can be authoritarian and barbaric, and like, you control people by hitting them on the head with clubs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is so weird.
Or you can control people by, taking over their land and, subjecting them to sit in settlements. And then when they, they act out a little bit too much. Oh, they say things too much. Oh, they form in groups too much. You go ahead and shut off their water and their power because you control it, because you've been there since 1940.
Didn't Brazil do that to Paraguay or something? So they didn't get their hands dirty. They didn't get their hands dirty one way or the other, helping out in World War II. After the fact, they came in.
No, they were victims in World War II.
But right after the fact, they came in to militarily secure Paraguay.
Yes, out of nowhere. Out of
the blue. That was weird.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
And how they just had the money and the resources this whole time to take over a small nation owned by Britain.
If you join the military, you're essentially just signing away your life to become a tool for you-know-what. And it's probably a bad idea, even though those guys are cool, and I do like talking to them. They are funny. They probably have senses of humor that are up there with construction workers and cops. They're very funny people, and I can understand why there's a sense of camaraderie and fraternity, etc. But I think it's a really bad idea, and you probably shouldn't do it. It also doesn't fix anything. The smorgasbord of issues that we face right now, none of that is solved by getting in a APC and going and shooting a guy. That doesn't fit. The guys that need to be, they're not over there, they're over here.